There are plenty of people out there who absolutely, positively have the money to buy your products and services. Millions of them. You can attract high-ticket buyers. Those are the facts. Now, you might say, well, everyone I talk to is broke. No, darling, your marketing message is broke. Wealthy words attract wealthy people. Poverty words attract poor people. Flip the script and you'll fix the problem. Keep listening and we'll show you how right now.
Welcome, everybody, to the Kingdom Builders podcast. We've got Coach Tam and yours truly, Jillian Lowe, Coach Sunny Bunny, with you today. And we are so excited for this episode. Are you ready? Turn the volume up. Lean in. Today, we are talking about poverty words and wealthy words, or maybe wealthy words and poverty words. Either way, we're going to cover both. So get ready. Buckle up. It's going to get good. Coach Tam, I would love it if you would kick us off with all the words and all the ways.
All right. Well, I was thinking about this episode actually, and I made a list. I did a little data dump right here. I made a list of wealthy words because I figured that everybody knows the poverty words, right? It's kind of like the difference between worrying and meditating. Nobody needs to teach you how to worry, but meditating, it takes some mental discipline, because meditation is really the correct form of thinking about the future. Worry is the incorrect form, or you might say that worry is perverted faith. You might say that worry is projecting evil into your future. Now, who wants to do that? Do you want to project evil into your future? But how often do we find ourselves thinking about negative things and fears and what ifs and get so locked up in anxiety over stuff that has never happened and probably is never going to happen, because the Bible says that God is with us, that God is for us, that his plans for us are good, that he has prosperity in mind for us, that 1,000 might fall at our side, 10,000 at our right hand, but it will not come near us. We have authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Now, that's what we're supposed to be thinking of. And if we're unclear, the Bible even gives us a mandate and says, think about these things that are pure, things that are lovely, things that are praiseworthy, things that are of a good report. That's the things that we're supposed to be meditating on. But because this fallen world and the enemies that we have in the spiritual realm are ever present, we have learned and kind of come to this default position of thinking negative things and worrying about things that are probably not going to happen. Like there is a much, much greater percentage of a chance that the things that we're worried about are not going to happen because God is on our side, right? So worry, Robert says in our chat, is a form of atheism. And I tend to agree with that. I tend to agree with that because we know that God is in charge of our lives. But because we have all of this sort of static in the air, all of this negative conditioning, it is very likely that our marketing message is suffering as a result as well. And so I find this all the time. And Coach Jillian, you can tell me what your experience has been, because you have also coached hundreds and thousands of people with us here in Kingdom Builders Academy. But we find that a lot of our future coaches, or even current coaches, or people who aspire to be public speakers, or people who have plenty of speaking opportunities, who just want to up-level their game and they come into Kingdom Builders Academy to learn the skills that we teach, a lot of times they have a marketing message that is calling out to the broken and to the downtrodden, because God has given us a heart for those people, right? And so what I want to share with you today is that you can still reach those people. You can still help those people. But can I just tell you that wealthy people, people who are financially stable, this is shocking, but they also have problems too. Are you aware of that? Financially stable people have health problems. They have marriage problems. They have depression issues. They have past trauma. They have a sense of a lack of peace and fulfillment, a spiritual void, a lack of purpose. They have all those same problems. And so your coaching programs, your messaging, your online courses, your influence can help to break them out of that. And they have the money to pay you for that, right? So I said in the opening, because I hear this a lot, is Coach Tam, everybody I talk to is broke. Well, what kind of messaging are you using to attract people? So we have a little exercise that we do in Kingdom Builders Academy about a transformational message. What kind of transformation do I create for my clients? And so for those of you who are joining us live here, if you have your transformational message on the tip of your tongue, why don't you go ahead and pop it into the chat? It usually starts out, I help who? Who do I help? And then, how do I help them? What kind of transformation do I create for them? Okay. Andrea says, I help those stuck in a rut. How do you help them? Come on, you guys. You have transformational messages. Here we go. Lady Aquila, go ahead and read for us, Jillian. Read some of these.
Sure. I help leading ladies. It says, especially the pastor's wife, embrace their calling, define powerful purpose, and emerge as empowered leaders in life, ministry, and business.
Those were some wealthy words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. Let's see. This one, I help burned out professionals get new fire.
Okay, that's good. Keep going.
I help ministry leaders have record-breaking fundraisers. I help Christian women transform stress eating into food peace.
Okay. All right. Now see, our people are getting it. And I'm hearing wealthy words. I'm hearing you calling out to professionals. I'm hearing you calling out to senior leaders, right? So that's what we want to do. In our messaging, we don't want to be calling out to people who are broken, abused, traumatized, hurt, wounded, all of those kinds of words. But we find that when people come into Kingdom Builders Academy, a lot of times that's what their marketing message is all about, right? So phrases and words such as abuse, trauma, emotional healing, wounded, depressed, addicted, struggling, broken are words that could also, surprise, surprise, describe people who are broke, who don't have money. And that kind of messaging attracts people who don't have money. So they want to talk to you. So if you're saying, well, all I'm talking to is broke people, well, who are you calling out to? And what's equally as bad is that those kinds of words repel people who have the money to buy your solution. Okay. So if you're calling out to, all these people who are traumatized and wounded, depressed, need healing, etc., it repels the high ticket buyers. And even low ticket buyers are often repelled by that messaging because they don't want to be identified as such. Like, for instance, Jillian, have you ever been having a perfectly nice day and somebody says, are you okay? Are you feeling okay? And then
Sure.
You're like, yeah, why? Well, I don't know. You just don't look, you don't look your normal self. You don't look happy. You're not sick, are you? Are you feeling any, and then you start wondering about yourself, like, oh my gosh, maybe I don't want to be that. No, I'm fine, right? So you reject that. So it's really important that as we describe what we do to help people to get transformation for them, that we're using wealthy words. Okay, so now I just gave you a bunch of them, but I want our live participants to participate, okay? So you guys drop in the chat poverty words, like things that would describe a client that maybe is not a good thing to be calling out to them, because Struggling, very good. Oh, see, it's just like worrying. It's so easy for you. It's so easy. Depressed, broke, addicted personality, wounded, broken, insecure, depressed, overwhelmed, rejected, marginalized, failure, tired, sad, frustrated, lack, abused, betrayed, wounded, overextended, insecure, unloved, can't, swamped, negative, exhausted, clingy. See how easy that was for you? That was so easy for you. Okay, let's go the other way. What do you think we should do, bunny girl? Should we have them pop in some wealthy words? Let's see how fast it comes. All right, here we go. Wealthy words. Let's see them. Go ahead, Jillian.
All right. Empowering and strong, successful, high value, confident and favored, ambitious, blessed, freedom, excited, happy, energetic, renewed, all kinds of action takers.
Industrious, fulfilled, loved, rich, power, abundant, healthy, joyful. See, you guys can do this. It's really easy. Now, what we want to do is we want to think about this in our marketing message. And so, as you guys probably know, I founded Get Motivated Business Seminars many decades ago, and I spent decades writing marketing copy. And anytime we would feature a new speaker, and we had hundreds of speakers over the decades, I would write the copy that we would put into our advertising. And so, and this is really kind of the genesis of how we do things in our curriculum in Kingdom Builders Academy. We have lots of templates. We have lots of frameworks. We have lots of fill in the blanks. We have everything that we can give you. We give you because we don't want you to have to try and create it. And so I showed you earlier this list that I made, and I based it off of my document that I called Bullet-O-Matic, because I had to write all these bullet points. Like, when you come to this seminar, what are you going to learn from Larry Bird or Christopher Reeve or Larry King or George W. Bush or George Foreman, all these people that we featured on our stage. And so, because I didn't want to think so hard every single time, I made a template for myself. And that's what I've done for the past 12 years in Kingdom Builders Academy, is I've tried to make things turnkey for you guys and to make it easy for you. And so I did a little bullet-o-matic here so that I could just go through and pick an adjective that describes my avatar and what they want, the outcomes that they want, okay? So I'll give you some examples, and you guys just gave us some examples of some great adjectives that would describe the people that you would want to work with. So here are mine, and these are actually, these are alphabetized from A to Z. So active, advancing, champion, effective, efficient, energetic, entrepreneurial, expert, extraordinary, flourishing, high thinking, high achieving, highly trained, motivated, positive, professional, prosperous, growing. I added retired because a lot of times retired people, they have money and they have some energy to do something next, the what's next. Growing, successful, superstar. What have we got on the next page? Thriving, undefeated, vibrant, warrior, winner. Okay. We want to be described in those terms, right? You're not going to object if somebody describes you in that way. So let's start calling out those people. And then your avatar. So we can say Christian women, but that's a mixed bag. You know, that's a mixed bag. Some Christian women are going to be broke and deflated and defeated and not have the ability to work with you, and pay the price that you command as an expert who can help create transformation. Now, you can always utilize the money that you are receiving from your high ticket clients and help people who can't afford your program. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you make it your ministry model or your business model to help people who have no money, guess what? You're going to have no money. Okay. You're not going to have the ability to help people at a higher level. So here's some avatars that I would suggest to you. Administrators, business owners, C-level women or C-level men, dentists, directors, executives, financial advisors, gym owners, IT professionals, leaders, managers, nurses, physicians, physician assistants, sales superstars, senior pastors, software developers, doctors, lawyers, accountants, executives, okay? And you can mix that up. You can say executive men or executive fathers or husbands or mothers, right? If you want to be a little bit more specific, if you're working with just men or women, okay? I have more, but Bunny, you're too quiet.
That's why I have a question. So I have a question. Okay. So I'm going to pretend right now that I am the coach and this is going to be my avatar. And then I'd like you to help me understand this plug and play model. So let's just say that
I'll play your game. Game on.
All right. So if my behind the scenes was that I help couples who are in crisis and kind of like on the verge of divorce, okay?
Yes.
What would my transformational message look like? Because I'll tell you, a lot of what I see is I help struggling marriages. I help marriages in crisis. How do we call out to those who can pay for a program, but also still hit the button where they say, yeah, my marriage is in crisis, where we're not accidentally glossing over it. And they're like, I don't know, like what's going on. So can you just show us if I helped marriages in crisis on the verge of divorce, what could I say? Who would I call to? And how could I still also identify that they're struggling and on the brink of divorce?
Okay. So let me just say, first of all, that if you are in the marriage niche, that's exactly who you should be calling out to. So I hear a lot of times people who will say, you know, I help couples fall more in love and be more fulfilled in their marriage and maybe communicate more effectively. Okay, well, that's not a $10,000 problem. Marriage in crisis on the verge of divorce, that's a $10,000 problem. And whether you have the money or whether you don't have the money, if you want to avoid the devastation of divorce and breaking up your family, you're going to come up with the money. So that is actually very good marketing messaging to somebody in the relationship niche who works with couples. You want to press the pain point on that. It's kind of like the same thing if you had a child who needed a life-saving surgery, that it was going to cost $10,000. Well, you're talking to people that don't have $10,000 that they can easily put their hands on, but nobody's going to let their child die. You're going to come up with $10,000. You're going to figure out a way to do it, right? So what we say is that we want to be solution providers who are dispensing like pain relievers, not vitamins. Okay. Vitamins are good. Vitamins are nice, right? But we want to be solving that pain point, that crisis point. So that's really good. So what I suggest in your marketing message is you can do, this might sound a little funny. You remember that game Twister where you put your right hand on red and you're all twisted up. So I hope I can describe this well to you. But in a marketing message, I don't want to make more than 3 points, because after 3 points, it just washes over you. You can't hear it anymore. Okay. So you might say, well, I help marriages in crisis to avoid divorce, rediscover passion, and something else, right? So either you can do 3 positives, or you can do 2 positives and a negative, or you can do 2 negatives and a positive, okay? So I'm going to describe to you what I mean by that, okay? So here's a positive, and you can mix these 2 words, okay? So you can say accelerate health, achieve weight loss, advanced. I'm just looking in the different columns, so it kind of needs to make sense. And I've got them broken down into health, wealth, and relationships because those are three main categories. Okay, so those are positive things to enjoy success, to gain more customers, to generate more income, to increase sales conversion, to make more money, to retire early, to realize greater purpose, to sell more clients, to increase retention, to supercharge health and energy. Those are positives, right?
Right.
Positive words describing the outcome. Okay, now here's some negatives, okay? With the negatives, we want to position it in a positive light. So we might say things like abolish, avoid, break free, eliminate, end, eradicate, escape, minimize, obliterate, prevent, stop. Okay, that's what we're going to do with the consequences, the negative consequences. So the negative consequences in health. All right, you guys participate now. We're going to help people. Pretend you're in a health niche. We're going to help people avoid, avert, abolish, break free from, eliminate what? Put it in the chat, please. What are in the health niche? Illness. Thank you, Anna. Okay, stress, diabetes, nervous breakdown, junk eating, stress, low energy, disease, depression. Right. Now you get it. Okay, we're not calling out to the people who have those things specifically. We're calling out to positive people, to professionals, but people buy for two reasons: to gain a benefit or to avoid a loss. So we want to put both of those things in our marketing message. That's great. So eradicate anxiety, minimize despair, obliterate high blood pressure, prevent food disorders, avoid heart attacks. Okay. So all I'm doing is I'm looking at my list and I'm looking at what our students have put in the chat. Okay. But you get it. That's a negative. Okay. That's a negative consequence. Let's do it in the wealth niche. Okay. Let's try it in the wealth niche. You guys liking this? Is this helpful? Can somebody tell me, is this helpful? Okay, good. You're liking this. Okay, good. All right. So let's continue playing our game then. We're going to move on to the wealth niche. Okay. What do people who are helping others become more financially successful, more prosperous, helping them with their businesses, what are some consequences to avoid? Okay. What do we want to eliminate, end, eradicate, escape, minimize, obliterate, prevent, and stop? Okay. Let's do this. Oh boy, you guys are fast. Eliminate debt, end poverty thinking, minimize burnout, prevent bankruptcy. Very good. Avoid overspending. Very good. Okay, let's try it now in the relationship niche. Okay, let's do the relationship niche. What in the relationship niche do people want to abolish, avoid, avert, end, eradicate, escape? Let's do it.
Yeah, it says anger, poor communication, loneliness, emptiness, freedom from toxic relationships, avoiding the burden of overtaxing people, incompatibility, rejection, eradicate conflict, divorce, resentment, bad communication, family dysfunction, codependency.
Right. Okay. So now you know how it works, right? So we're going to call out to our professional people. We're going to say, I help. What kind of professional person?
And I just want to say, I think that is, I help. And I think a lot of times two things might be going wrong based on what I saw in the chat today. Okay. I see I help and a negative word. I help struggling, whatever. I help broken. I help depressed. So you've labeled them rather than saying they're struggling with the thing. You've actually labeled them the thing. So I see that. The second thing is it might be I help Christians who are struggling with X and Y. But when you're saying, Coach Tam, that we want to call out to an avatar who can afford to pay for our services, the I help and what comes next is really, really important. High level Christians, high level, successful, achieving, engaged. It's really important. It seems like, based on everything said, that I help and what comes next, the descriptor word of that person is really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we want to call out to those people who are ready to go to the next level. We don't want to call out to the people who are stuck and who are in a rut and who are depressed and who are apathetic, right? Because those kinds of people, they're harder to motivate. And personally, as a coach, I'm just going to say, I want to work with people who are already motivated, who already are taking action in the direction of their dreams, who are ready to implement systems that are going to make it easier for them to get clients, easier for them to write books, easier for them to get on stages, and they're already energetic. I don't want to be trying to convince people. It's like my grandma used to say, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still, right? So I don't want to shake down somebody to say, oh, come on, you've got to do my program. I want to be talking to somebody who's already there.
Right.
They're ready to take action. They just need some help. They need some accountability. They need some systems. They need some shortcuts. They need some strategies that are going to get them the results faster and easier than the terrible results that people get in the school of hard knocks, trying to do it yourself, trying to learn how to do this stuff on YouTube videos. So yes, that is correct. We want to call out to powerful people, professionals, motivated individuals who have some issues. They have some problems, but hey, at least they have the energy and the mindset and the money to solve them.
Right.
Providing a solution for them to make it easier for them.
Right. And so, as an example with our live audience today, Bill, you said, I help confused men in their relationships, ... So that's an example of what I was just saying. I help, and what comes next? Confused men? No, I would not say I help confused men, because that might be calling out to confused men who also might not be able to pay for your valuable program. But I help, high level. I help executive senior pastors. I help. Give them a positive power adjective. Thank you for that. I think Mama Pam. So I love that, because that, I think, like this one, I help high achieving Christian female leaders, ... Now, I like that. I think that's really brilliant. I help. How you describe your avatar next is really important. And Coach Tam saying, you can still identify marriages in crisis, people in financial ruin, on the brink of divorce, struggling with their weight. But who you identify them as is the first thing they see. And so it's really important that they say, I'm high achieving, I'm energetic, I've got goals, I'm ambitious, I'm powerful, and then address the problem. It's kind of like saying you're a liar versus you're struggling with lying, right? Like, I don't want you to call me I'm a liar. I want you to say, like, you're someone who is like fully capable of doing X, Y, and Z. However, you're struggling right now with lying, or whatever the case may be. So I just think it's really important that people understand that I help and that gap. Please make sure that you recognize you are now calling out who is going to respond to you. So if you're writing, like what Coach Tam said, with all of those poverty words, people who identify with that immediately probably do experience poverty in their life. So I just think it's brilliant, Coach Tam, that you're saying there are people who have the money for your program, but it's up to you to identify them properly.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you do that, you'll see such a shift in the quality of people that you talk to. In fact, I think it was 2 years ago, we had a runner-up for Kingdom Builder of the Year. And so what we gave to our 2 runner-ups was a personal consult with me and Zach. And one of them said, and she's very vibrant. She's been very successful. That's why she was a runner-up for Kingdom Builder of the Year. But she said, I find that I'm talking to a lot of people who are kind of struggling and broke and beat up and burned out and depressed and don't have the money to pay for my program. And I said, okay, what is your transformational message? And she said, I help struggling women. And I said, stop, just stop. That's the reason these people are calling you and talking to you and taking time, but they're never going to transition into your program because they're struggling. Why don't you just change it to successful? And that's it. She changed one word from struggling to successful. And she said she tripled or quadrupled her business instantly overnight, right?
Wow.
So it's really important that we use wealthy words when we're describing the people that we want to help, and that we're giving them transformational messages that are painkillers, not vitamins. Okay. So it's got to be I need to do this, not, oh, I'd like to do this someday. It's got to create a sense of urgency for them to want to take action. All right. I think we had a great sesh here today, and I hope that you guys find that helpful. I know some of our members were asking about, can we get this list? I think what I'm going to do, we have a new curriculum, a new class coming up on copywriting in Kingdom Builders Academy. So I think what I'm going to do is to pass this along to our master copywriter, Sam, and Terrace is going to be teaching that class as well. And he is also just an absolute excellent at messaging. And so I'll pass this along to them and they can doctor it up, finish it out, and utilize it and give it to you guys. All right. Well, this has been wonderful. I love seeing Max and throw pillows behind you. That's our mascot, Max. Sunny Bunny, wonderful to be with you as always.
Yeah,
We love you guys.
it.
And we will see you on the next episode of the Kingdom Builders Academy podcast. Bye now.